Yeah, well, welcome, gentlemen, to our St. Paul's speaker series. This is a monthly event that we do every Friday, last Friday of every month. And for 2022, this is the fourth one. And we're privileged to have amongst us as our speaker, Mr. Medarido Makombe, who's a commercial farmer in Kabwe, but he's doing other things around the country, and he's somewhere far from Kabwe at the moment, and he's going to explain what he's doing. But today's program is focused on horticulture, primarily the growth, distribution, and the business of onions. As we all are aware, onions have become a hot topic in the country, with ShopRite having, their lobbyists trying to get the government to bend on the import situation, and ZNFU getting, in a tussle with farmers and so forth. So Medarido is aware of all this, and the scale of his farming, I think, makes him an appropriate person to talk about this issue. So, Mr. Makombe, the issue is ahead of us is very simple. We just want you to explain your situation as far as how you're involved with all this, and what the challenges are in this market, and the solutions that you see possible. So please take it away.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, everybody, for giving me this opportunity. You can hear me?
Yes.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to interact at this platform, and hopefully bring some valuable knowledge to the group. We in the agriculture sector in Zambia, we have grown over time. There are lots of opportunities here in the agriculture sector in Zambia, depending on what you choose to do. There are lots of challenges that are outlined. I think the best thing that we have got here is that we have got two of the most important resources in agriculture production. Now, the agricultural atmosphere in Zambia has evolved over time, from government marketing some crops back to government, back to the private sector. So generally, it is what you choose to do, what you like to do, that is very productive at the moment, and the new things that have come on the market. We have the world looking for a lot of our products in Zambia, from Zambia, our neighbors looking for the products, and our own Zambians. Now, let us just focus on the horticulture sector of things. Here, although we are particularly talking about onions today, it involves nearly all the horticultural products that we can have in Zambia. The land resource is widely available. The water is widely available. Our biggest challenge to get these things working is the working capital. Now, the beauty about this place, to anybody who wants to start, whether it's planting one bed that is 10 meters or whatever the size is of vegetables, is that you can start with any size of resource that you've got as a working capital. Anything you plant here, from cabbages to tomatoes to onions, the market is readily available at your doorstep. Whether also you are rearing livestock, you are into village chickens and everything, the immediate neighborhood of yours is the market. The towns around you are markets, and the neighboring countries are markets. Now, we as a Makombe, we have been farming for some time, and obviously we have grown with time. At the moment, I'm in Lufanyama. You will understand that Lufanyama is a new district, less than 10 years old. which has got all the other potential, all the other parameters that will help any farmer, from weather to soil to the rain. So this is where we are expanding our agricultural production. And mainly what we are doing here is onion, wheat, soybeans, and some maize. Now, onion production has always been around, and the market has always been around. Hello, Professor, are you there, and the team?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's always been around.
It's always been around. It's just that these things have never received the kind of publicity that they tend to receive in the recent past. And obviously, the preaching with the healthy benefits of whether you're eating village chickens or goats or onions or avocado. So they've always been around. They've always grown with us. It is us, the people and the farmers of Zambia, that have never commercialized it. Now, we have commercialized it to a certain level, but I will also say that despite us commercializing them to a certain level, we cannot still meet the total demand of the various products that we are producing. Now, let's take for now what we are talking about, onions. I am on firm ground that Zambia, we need nearly 12,000 tons of onion in a year, which is 1,000 tons a month. And the last time, before all this ShopRite fire started, there was only 4,000 tons of onions in Zambia, which was stock. So when you look again on the statistics, you will find that Zambia, we are importing anything between 6,000 to 8,000 tons of onions in the last 3 years. So the market is endless. It's for us to capture it. The profitability is there because everything is good for us at the moment. So I would urge a lot of us to take up these horticultural or animal rearing businesses full-time as well as part-time, so that you can make some side income out of it. So yeah, that's where we are, Professor. The market is good. The policies have become good, Professor, and the team, obviously. The policies have become good. The logistics have become good. The crop nutrition has become good. It is for us to apply ourselves in this thing and make sure that we are producing what I would think is a shortfall in Zambia of anything around 7,000 tons of onion. Now, ShopRite has been one that has brought up a lot of talk in the onions. Whilst we have got onions in Zambia from May to December, we are unable to satisfy ShopRite's appetite from January to May, because everything in Zambia is seasonal. Now, if we are trying to satisfy guys that are local as well as international, these are people who want to sign offtake agreements with us that we can supply 365 days a year, a certain quality of onion that meets their shelf standards, and a good price that they can pass it on to the consumers who can also afford the product. Now, we are a bit handicapped in Zambia because we do not have the infrastructure that is supposed to support and the capital power that is supposed to construct the infrastructure to be able to put our onions in storage so that we are supplying them 365 days a year. The recent ban is helping us now to comfortably invest in those things. So we are hoping that in a year or two, although there might be some low supply on the market, we do not get someone saying there's totally no onions in Zambia. So the opportunities are there. The land is here in Lufwanyama, the land is there in Serenje, the land is there in Mpika, it's everywhere in Zambia. The weather is good, the water is here, the rain is here. So gentlemen, If you are looking at investing in agriculture, let's start now. Let's start even at your backyard. I've seen your backyard, Professor, sometimes there that it got some homegrown vegetables. Thanks, Professor.
Yeah, we're trying bit by bit. So maybe we should ask you some questions so we can direct the conversation.
Yes.
Okay. I have a few questions that maybe I can help start this thing off. So you mentioned the enabling environment that has
Yes.
that's existing now, the policies, logistics, and the market. So just one by one, can you talk about what policies now you think are helping people, and maybe make that about people of different scales, like small farmers, medium, and then the large ones. What type of policies are helping? Then the second one, and this one maybe Tambala can jump in as well, the logistics. How do you get your stuff from one place to the market? And then the third one, and we've heard about this a lot, is the market, which includes our colleagues up north, Kasumbalesa people and all those people from Congo that come and grab these items. How much Zambians taking advantage of that market? So just three things for now.
Yes, gentlemen, when we look at the policies, first and foremost, agriculture is an industry that needs protection, mostly from the policymakers, the government. So when you leave it to be flooded by imports from the neighboring countries, our biggest people here that flood us here is either they are Brazil or South Africa. And if we are talking about onions and horticultural products is South Africa. Now, when the market is not protected, because the biggest thing about anything that you grow, you should be able to sell it. You want to sell it for a profit. You want to grow it with a proper focus that the prices are not going to change in the future. You want a stable market. Now, when the policy is not defined about what will come in the country and what should not come in the country, and it's left to traders. Trading is a very easy job. You go to South Africa, you buy your onions, within a week they're in Zambia and you are trading. It's unlike farming where you go to invest. So the government at the moment has taken a deliberate step together with ZNFU to stop the imports. So that policy, by stopping those imports, that involves the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Commerce, ZRI, and the affiliated departments. So by just stopping the imports, they have created the environment for us to be able to thrive properly, because we can take our product on the market for a profit and then we can invest, knowing that we are protected for some time. So that is policy part of it. That is government. And we are thankful that they've done that, and we hope that these policies will remain the same. You will also remember, Professor and the team, that years ago, we used to import wheat into the country until Manawasa and the team and the subsequent governments stopped these imports. And that helped Zambia become the only self-reliant country on wheat and bread products here in the southern region. Not even South Africa, nobody, but us here in Zambia, because the farmers could invest comfortably. So that is policy. The policy pronunciations about certain things, the policy on whether the border is open for you to sell or not. Mostly our biggest market, Kasumbalesa. Are we free to trade in Kasumbalesa? So when, for instance, the maize market, you close the border, you open the border, you close the border, it gives uncertainty to the producers. Now, the policymakers in Congo, the policymakers in Zambia created a deliberate policy that we must be able to trade at Kasumbalesa, in this huge informal market that thrives very well. So that also helps us, the market, the export market, not only looking at onions, but everything else. The logistics, it is becoming easier in Zambia to go from a small truck to a big truck to deliver your product from these mostly producing areas of Lusaka, Ufanyama, Mukushi area, whatever, wherever you are, even Mumbwa, to deliver your stuff to Kasumbalesa, deliver it to Lusaka, no problem. The roads are becoming better. Yes, it's a big problem. That government needs to sort out to make sure that our roads are good. So at least it is, we have got a workable road network, which we can predict what time a product leaves the farm and goes to the market. It is for us now to invest to make sure that the people in the supermarket can get the St. Paul's product. If we have got a St. Paul's avocado, they should be able to get it 365 days a year. So once we for us to break into that market, we needed these deliberate policies to protect us. I submit, gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Makombe. Mr. Maimba has a question.
Thank you very much for your presentation. It's very clear, it's inspirational, and it gives me hope that there are people out there who we can always call upon for some advice. I only have two questions. For now, what I'd like to know is how many players do we have, if you have an idea? Who are the main players? You know, sometimes like in the potato industry, you say you've got Buyabamba. But for onion, who is the main player? And then roughly, what quantities are ShopRite or one of these retailers requiring from us per month? I know you gave us a figure of say 4,000 tons that's available, and then an additional 6,000 tons are required to satisfy the Zambian market. But what quantities would a place ShopRite or an outlet like ShopRite or Pick and Pay require on, say, on a monthly, or is it on a daily basis? So that we sort of understand the scale of the market.
Thank you, Mr. Maimbo. Thank you, Mr. Chair. The players in the market at the moment are all the chain stores that we've got now, because now they've been stopped from importing the onions, so they are looking into the Zambian market. So the mega chain stores, the ShopRite, the Pick and Pay, Food Lovers, Choppies, they are all looking on the Zambian market now. And those players, Mr. Maimbo, are the ones that imported this plus minus 6,000 tons, 7,000 tons of onion on a yearly basis. I do not have the specific figures. I have been doing a research now, and I've been trying to get some marketing contracts with these mega supermarkets. I will be able on the sidelines to post to you that data. I've got your phone number so that you can know. But on average, on our 12,000 tons consumption that we needed in Zambia, us have only been able to produce 1/3 of it, which is plus minus 4,000 tons at a time. So these superstores have been accounting for plus minus 50% of the onions that are coming into Zambia. Not incidentally, what's funny is some of those onions you have been buying on Soweto market, and these people who put them on the side of the road, those onions have actually been imported by ShopRite, and the marketeers have gone into ShopRite and bought them and reselling them on the open market. That's why you see ShopRite is the first one to cry when there's shortage, because like ShopRite bread that you know here in Zambia, people use ShopRite as their wholesale. They buy from there and go and sell. So we've got a huge challenge to fill that gap before someone justifies that ShopRite. When I mean ShopRite, I mean the supermarkets, all of them. Before someone justifies that they must come back. So plus minus the 12,000 tons, half of it is imported, half of it is locally produced. Kasumbalesa market is a very big informal market. You cannot collect accurate data from there, but that market will finish all the Zambian onions, no problem. Thank you.
Any other questions? That's a good question, Anziva. Thank you so much. Any other questions? So, well, gentlemen.
I've got a question.
Yeah, go ahead, General.
I was also looking at the ban. Won't it also cause some price increases in the market in Zambia itself? And also, I've heard him talking about the market in Congo. Are you also selling the onion in Congo as well? If so, isn't it again, you are taking away the few onion that you have, taking it to Congo, again creating a shortage in Zambia? Those three questions.
That is the dynamic situation where we have found ourselves. Yes, the ban has increased the price of onion. Now, understand it from this point. The problem we've got in Zambia is that when we produce, because of our seasons, we produce too much and too much arrives at the market. So we do not have a continuous flow of this product. Now you will see now, the bag of onion will move from the same 200 kwacha to 50 kwacha. Now, what I was trying to say earlier on is, us that are involved in this onion value chain, we have to invest in a way that the Zambian, you on in the shop who wants to buy a product should be able to buy your onions on an affordable price throughout the year. We shouldn't come the one moment we are selling it to you for 300 kwacha for 10 kgs, the next moment we are selling to you for 50 kwacha for the same product. So whilst the ban has temporarily increased the price, the dynamics of Zambia is, when we are talking this from experiences, the producers will take the opportunity to fill up that gap, and the prices will come to a stable price that you can rely on as a household throughout the year, 365 days a year, without worrying that one day is 300 kwacha, the next day is 50 kwacha. Now, the Congo market is a very good market for the Zambian situation. I must mention, unfortunately, Zambia, we are failing to capture this huge market. We are failing to capture it so that we capitalize it and we become an agricultural producing, exporting country. It is causing, that Congo market causes shortages, not only in the onions, but in the maize. You have had the maize ban here and there. Every time when there's a maize ban, it's not Malawi, it's not Tanzania, it's not Namibia, it is Congo. So the appetite for the Congolese for our food, any food product, even the ones in cattle, is huge. So in the long term, we want to look at it in the long term as Zambians who are producing in the agricultural sector and be able to stand to the challenge to meet the shortages that are caused by the Congo market as well as supply the Zambian market. Now, General, there's something that that is unwritten that I would like you to understand as well. a Zambian farmer based in Kabwe, Makombe myself, no matter what I do, I have to offload some of my product in Kabwe because I've got expenses to meet here before I take my product to the Congo market. Now, I know this for a fact in mealie meal and maize. The Congo market brings stability because the price I get from the Congolese tends to bring me to an average price with a low price I get from the Zambians. So, for instance, you will always find a box of tomato in the Kabwe market at 150 kwacha. The same farmer is selling the boxes of tomato at Kasumbalesa market for 300 kwacha. So the two prices hit an average, which encourages the farmer to satisfy both markets. And you agree with me that Zambia doesn't run short of things like tomatoes, cabbages, and these things, except for the onions now. So yes, off season, the prices will go up. In the season, the prices will go down. It's something that we need to invest in so that we supply the consumer, the household consumer, with a steady price throughout the year. Thank you, General.
Any other questions? So while the gentlemen are coming up with a question, maybe I can ask another one. So obviously the big chains that have been driving the bulk of commercial market, they want to sign these long-term offtake agreements with big suppliers locally and around the region. What kind of legal system exists for farmers to be protected? That's number one. And then number two, is there any opportunity for a broker to participate in this market? By that I mean, these are not people that necessarily produce the onions, but they can gather the onions like Nambod, like what Nambod used to do. They gather the place in a certain place and they'll store it for that off-season market. So just talk about the agreements and the protection that you guys have, and then also the broker who can invest in that storage system.
Thank you, Chair. The legal system in Zambia, when you sign a contract and you can meet that contract, you are protected by our constitution, is fine. The problem at the moment is that as the farmers cannot produce the product that the market wants, say onion 365, because we haven't invested in that. So when we get to a stage when we can assure our market of 365 days in a year, same quality that the professor loves to find in the supermarket shelf, that I do not think that they will complain. And also the legal system plus the farmers union and all these things, the legal basis of protection are there, although they are lacking in a certain way. It is something that should be an ongoing process to make sure that we are better legally protected. So the situation as we are going, I think there are certain things that it will dictate that will make us come up with a good legal framework through ZNFU so that the producers are protected properly. Now, the off-takers, let us look at Buyabamba on a large scale. So that is the kind of off-takers that are there. Now, those guys have been able to consolidate a lot of things on the potato plus on the onion market in Zambia by making sure that they've invested in these things that, again, they meet the 365 days a year. They give a fair price, the farmer is able to produce. They've got outgrower schemes also where they even engage the farmers to grow for them. on a smaller scale, Professor and the team, it will be funny, but those people in all the markets, there are people who have taken up the opportunity. They've taken up the space in their own small way. They are brokers. So when we go to Kasumbalesa market and thing, we are not actually selling those products one. There is Msonda Kapata Moyo there who says, so that guy, we deliver to them, and them are the ones doing the onward selling. So in an informal way, they are there. And I would imagine, no, not I would imagine, collectively, those small guys, they are bigger than the formal market of Buyabamba that we have got. Now, for those that want to invest also in the brokering storage business, at the moment, we got only one operator in Zambia who formally does that, who is Buyabamba. Other than that, the informal market. So it is Makombe agreeing with them so that Kapatamoyo on the market through these new cell phones that have made our logistics better. And then seamlessly, you know, it happens. So I don't step in Kasumbalesa market for a year. And they give a fair price. They fight for the best price and they take their commissions, and that is life, and they're making a living. So that is also an area where there's opportunity for investment. I submit.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for that answer there. Onward, you had a question.
Victor, I'll ask later. I am near the workshop, so there's a bit of some noise. I don't know. Can I ask later?
Yes, absolutely. You can. While we wait for more questions, I just want to make an announcement that we have a practice of putting your name and the penta in the chat so that we know when you graduated there at Santos. But already I've seen our treasurer, Mr. Chandika, is here from 1973. So it'd be nice to know who was the oldest penta in this chat today. So just go in the chat and tell us when your penta year was. Yeah, any questions? Mr. Katiko, welcome. Do you have any questions for Mr. Makombe?
Good afternoon, thank you. I have just joined in, so it would be unwise for me to ask questions. Maybe he has already answered everything before I came. I'm sorry, I have a connectivity problem. Living on a farm is difficult.
That's a very wise answer. No wonder you're a headman. Thank you so much. Anybody else with a question? Hansba, your hand is still up. Did you want to ask another question?
Yes, I just wanted to ask a question relating to what we are looking at, which is onions. Isn't garlic one of those issues that we should also look at? And how's the garlic market doing? It's one of those areas that is profitable. Or I had very strange prices, almost 600 kwacha. I don't know what 600 kwacha translates to a bag, but those are the prices I was hearing, which is pretty expensive. Maybe 10 kwacha, 20 kwacha per bulb. So isn't it also an idea that we look at the garlic sector as well?
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I must offer my apologies for not mentioning garlic because it's in the onion family. Now, this is one product, again, that if you grew only in your backyard, it will make you a lot of money. 500 kwacha for 50 kg, 600 kwacha now. So when we look at these things in the horticulture and all this food value chain, let us choose exactly what makes the best profit for us. I know it's not everybody who's got a 2, 5, 3, 10 hectares of maize, of fields where they can expand. But for garlic, if you produce 1/10 of a hectare or half a hectare, you are a huge producer. And the returns from there are phenomenal, they are humongous. So that is something that you need to specialize in. You don't even need to worry about the market because the off-takers range from the biggest to the smallest ones. Until such a time when the market is saturated, I do not see it getting saturated in our time of farming, in our remaining time of farming. Maybe other generations to come. So yes, garlic, yes, some things like ginger. Look at those things. And for Professor who is far, you can plant some avocado trees so that in 5 years' time you're in production and you can supervise from far. So let us
that's
just
something
choose.
I'd like to do. I didn't even know that garlic was a hot thing there, but I have enough space for that kind of thing.
The backyard garden is the best one for the garlic. 1/10 of a hectare is a lot.
Yeah.
So yes, thank you for reminding us about garlic. I've been doing research on it. Once the onion here in Lufanyama is well established, on the sidelines, we are going to produce garlic because they all fall in the onion family. Thanks.
Yes. Yeah. Any more questions for Mr. Makombe? So this is just a side note, but from what I hear, the most enduring relationship in Zambia is one between onion and tomatoes. It's even stronger than the strongest marriage. So how's the tomato? How's the tomato market there?
Professor and the team, the tomato market is very turbulent. The tomato market is very uncertain. We've been producing tomatoes for a very long time. The answer to anything that is we are producing is be in the market 365 days a year. I mean, we have sold tomatoes for 50 kwacha a box, and the same tomatoes the following day are 300 kwacha a box. So you go to work at an average. And once you attain that average, then you are fine. The whole agricultural system in Zambia needs a serious relook on value addition. You will be shocked how many onions, how many tomatoes, how many watermelons, how many mangoes, and all those things that go to waste. Somebody must invest in a value addition, in preserving those things so that we've got them throughout the year. So the marriage between onion and tomato will go on forever. The tomato producers, have to be in the market, whether small or big, all the time. So you got to plan that. When the price is low, you are selling. When the price is medium, you are selling. When the price is high, you are selling, so that you hit a good average. Thank you.
Wonderful. Mr. Onward Lumbama, you have a question? Yeah, Onward Wana, you're on.
Yeah, I think now there's less noise. I hope you're able to hear me now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I always look at, you asked the question and it's all related. I look at the market like Soweto and markets like Kasumbalesa, and I'm sure the policy makers, when they ban certain things, they should put also things in place. I'm sure my Makombe should be able to spearhead some of these things, because when you look at the things that go to waste, the policymakers should look into that. It's not just about the ban, but also when you produce, you are protected. But at the same time, if I'm traveling now to supply to Kasumbalesa, every roadblock I have to pay something, and that's hectic now. Even if the market is there, so you find the traders now also have to pay heavily on the road. So the policymakers should look into that, so that other people can also be free to mingle around. And then at the same time, also I look at people who are producing and be able to supply to other farmers like you, Makombe, who have gone higher. A subsistent farmer like me can supply to you, and you have this warehouse where you can keep refrigerated food and be able to supply either to Congo or anywhere near. It should be done like that. I mean, the policymakers should look into that, so that they provide this to big farmers, have a warehouse where you can sell these products there collectively. Because I've gone in 2 countries where you go into this market, you find everything that you want to order from one shop, including hardware. But here in Zambia, if it is hardware, it's hardware. It's you are specific. But I'm sure farmers also can come together, like the way Nambots can provide these, so that big farmers are able to buy and supply to the government, and the government is selling, is finding market. I'm sure, I don't know, there's a break somewhere where the policymakers make a break, where an individual has to fight to go to Congo to sell or anywhere.
Yeah, that's a nice observation and question. There's a question in there, Medarido.
Yes, it's also, it's been a good heads up for something that, like what he says, we need to spearhead, so that it's a smooth selling operation if we are delivering our product and all the stuff. Now, it is also given me a heads up for a business that is that we can harness in being an off-taker from the farmers around us, and collectively, when we've got these large quantities now, I know this again from the grain trading, that we are going to be able to command the market and command good prices. It is something that I'll take it up with ZNFU, and I hope in the system somewhere, other farmers that have got capacity, or if we get people that are able to invest capital in these storage facilities, what I would say off-take centers that will deliver for onward movement to whatever market, it will help a lot in stabilizing the market. It will help a lot in ensuring that the backyard farmer gets a fair price, because he can deliver to a local warehouse facility. I will be pushing this with the ZNFU authorities, and together, I'm sure government will be able to hear us. And if opportunities arise with people that want to invest, it is a very good suggestion, a very good eye opener. It's a good business opportunity that we can invest in. Thank you.
Yeah, very well. That's very nice. Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah. Mr. Nkatiko has a question.
It's not the question. I would like to agree with Mr. Makombe on the issue of value addition. And I think we shouldn't leave this value addition aspect to, say, policymakers or bodies. My gut feeling is that, you know, as an alumni,
Medarido, you heard that observation from Mr. Nkatiko.
He was breaking up. Maybe you can explain, Professor.
First of all, Mr. Nkatiko is a big expert, agriculture expert. I'm sure you've seen him on TV.
For representatives all over the world. So my tomato field, what I do is alumni put up some mechanism. Something went wrong. I didn't finish my contribution. Someone made me a big expert. I'm just big in size.
No, we're talking about your contribution in the agriculture sector in the country, which have been well documented, you know, both on TV and print. But you are breaking up, so you would come in and go out, come in, go out. But I thought the gist of your question and contribution was that we shouldn't leave the value addition to policymakers, but to practitioners like Makombe, and also some alumni that came up with a project. So maybe you want to expand on that one.
No, I suggest, what I wanted to suggest, Mr. Makombe, is that as an organization like ourselves, an alumni from SECOS can invest in value addition and support your activities and support Mr. Lumumba and support other players. You know, in Zambia, we are still importing tomato paste, and yet tons and tons of tomato go to waste in Soweto.
And
I know people who transport tomato from Sorry, I lost you.
Medarido, maybe you can address that, you know, the wastage.
Mr. Chairman, you know, I'm actually scratching my head and thinking, how come I never saw this opportunity to firstly be an off-taker from the others and move this stuff onwards, because we can discuss and make plans with the huge supermarkets. I'm definitely, Mr. Nkatiko, I am going to be your guest soon. I am just hooked up for a month and a half here. When everything is settled, I will be coming to get more wisdom and see how we can set up this. To me, it doesn't have to be very big. It just has to start from somewhere where we can, we just have to start from somewhere where we can start this trade. And I'm sure creating a small organization with shareholders out of this, wherever, it will prosper, because yes, Soweto Market throws away a lot of onions. So is John Market and Kasumbalesa and the Masara Market. So, Mr. Nkatiko, I will be your guest so that we advance this. And I'm hoping that when we do a research properly, we do market analysis, and we should come up with a small, even kamikaze operation that will start from somewhere. So I will definitely be visiting you. Thank you. It's been an eye opener, and I think it's the biggest thing. The biggest thing take home for me today from this forum is that business opportunity. Thank you for giving me this idea.
So, Medarido, I'll just, I know we're running short of time here, but I'll just add on to what Mr. Nkatiko asked. And my question is, what other products are made from onion instead of just cooking?
Nowadays, you know, there's a lot of things that have come up because of this healthy thing and all of us wanting to live healthy. Like someone said, we are worried about eating and do this and that. So there's onion juice, there's dried onions, there's onions for the table. And if we go into value addition, I have seen dried onion, I've seen, is it not pickled? I've seen this onion, you've seen it in tins, imported from other countries in a liquid, preserved in a liquid. So all those things, including the onion juice, there are people who just want to drink this onion juice because it will give them some serious years to come, serious strength for them to run 21 kilometers like Professor. So yeah. You have seen how Willow has been preaching all these food things on the forum. So it's quite a lot that needs research. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So for the gentleman that joined us a bit late, would like you to put your name in the chat and your penta, so the year that you graduated. So normally these meetings, they last 1 hour, just so we can respect everybody's time. So are there any other questions for Mr. Makombe? And Medarido, would you like people to call you sometime for for advice? Because I know you've been helping St. Paul's production unit, so the school already calls you. But what about random chaps like us? Can we call you?
Professor, and in the group, interestingly, one of my biggest things is to compress the years of experience that I've gotten and transfer capacity building into someone like you, Professor, who doesn't have time to spend 20 years doing this that I've gone through, who's got in 2 years. I can come to you and do a yield program so that we are moving our maize from 1.6 ton per hectare as a country to 9 tons. We are moving our onion production from just some backyard thing, from those ones to 50, 60 tons of production. We are moving our garlic production to maybe 15, 20 tons. So goes down with everything. I am very passionate about knowledge transfer. It has taken me quite a long time to reach these levels. I learn from the big and the small, so I compress those things in a simple, understandable, practical way of transferring this knowledge to us, to people. The agricultural scenario in Zambia is in such a way that we cannot flood it. We can all have 1,000 hectare farms. We will never be able to.
Pascal is somewhere very interesting right now.
Interestingly, to the group, the more we produce, we've seen this when we are producing tobacco into a centralized market, we have command over the market, we have command over the prices, we can dictate quite a few things. So the more we produce, the better we are. The idea is to produce for the country, Zambia, so that Zambians can have affordable food and export for our forex. And even if it takes us exploiting our Congolese friends, they also exploit us in a certain way, that is fine. So gentlemen, I am 100% available for anything that you want in the agricultural value chain. I will also be seeking advice from Mr. Katiko there. The network where I am doesn't work. This MTN, Airtel, they don't work. I will post a Zamtel number on the group that sometimes works, but oh, sorry, 1913. And the WhatsApp, the Wi-Fi here works very well because we've got a good Wi-Fi on the premises. So you can text me. When I find it, I'll get hold of you, then we can chat. I'm available to all of you gentlemen. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much. President Nkatiko, yeah, this young man, Mwangweo, left in 2013, not 1913.
You even distracted me when I looked at 1913.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, yeah. So I saw Mr. Milimo just joined us. Just Chompa is having a good time. Having a very good time. So anyways, so we are right at the 1 hour mark when we started, and unless there are any other questions, I'm just going to make some general announcements about this program. So like I said, this is the St. Paul Speaker Series that we do every last Friday of each month. And we're hoping in the next one, we could have Mr. Hastings Chibuye, who is a water resources expert in the region. Zambia, Zimbabwe, and the Zambezi basin and so forth. I think he's based in Zimbabwe right now. And hopefully he can come to talk to us about, what's going on in that sector, because it's of a big import in terms of, geopolitics in our area. And we're also looking for other topics that we can discuss that are of general interest to a lot of people, but also that advance our knowledge base. As far as the cooperative is concerned, I know Moses Mumba had also been spearheading this. So when we start to talk more about this, he'll be an interested party, I think, to come and join. So I would ask one last time if anybody has a comment, contribution, or anything you want to say.
Victor, are you able to hear me?
Yes, yes. Yes, we can hear you.
Onward.
Onward, yeah, go ahead.
I owe you a visit, so we can go hunting. Yeah, Makombe, I owe you a visit, so we can go hunting.
Yes. May is
it's
here,
good that you have shared. Yeah. Thank you very much for your sharing. And these are my ideas that I always look at, like Mr. Nkatiko said. You see, we have big farmers who are not able to get from small farmers, but they want to. But I always look also at the government, even ZNFU, to provide this platform of having warehouses where you can supply, and them now to, I think them can find the market anywhere in the world, and especially like Congo, even for groundnuts, for example, if you go to, I've been thinking, when you go to Kazungula border, for example, if you put a warehouse there, groundnuts there are scarce, and they would love to have groundnuts from Zambia. So when you look at all that, you build it and people are able to bring in, you are selling for them, it's much profit. Look at the cooperative of St. Paul's. ex-St. Paul's, where I think this contribution of every year trying to support St. Paul's, I think we need to have a cooperative where you are able to get the profit and be able to send it to St. Paul's every year, which is better. So every member may be a shareholder. Thank you.
Thank you so much, actually. So Pride should actually come up with a framework for that. So I'm going to ask him to revive it, and maybe he can contact you onward, and we can get some stuff moving. I mean, the year is still early, so we can do some good work. So, like I said, we're up on the 1 hour mark. The last announcement is that as part of the St. Paul Speaker Series, the committee that brings these meetings together has come up with an incentive program where a person that attends 3 meetings consecutively and is active in participating in the meetings is going to receive a prize. So one of my colleagues is going to send that out, and they will let us know who the winner is for the first quarter of 2022. So on behalf of St. Paul's alumni, Medarido would like to thank you and for your time and your generosity of knowledge and so forth. And we wish you success in Lufanyama, and look out for Anthony Mukutuma. He's somewhere in that area, running a huge mining operation, and say hello to him.
Yeah, I'll find.
Yeah, so so gentlemen, thanks for coming. Please go and have a nice Friday in Jakarta.
Thank you, Professor. Thanks, bye.
Cheers.
Thank you to everybody.
Cheers. Yeah, Ephraim, you came in last.
Yeah, I didn't know. I got the times wrong.
Oh.
I'll listen to the recording.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah.